I am more excited this week than usual. And you guys know I'm always excited. Like, I love this stuff. Like, this is my mantra. This is my sermon, right? Like, I need to prove to myself beyond a shadow of a doubt, because if I can prove to myself beyond a shadow of a doubt, well, then I can go all in. And some may say that's a very risky strategy, and I'm certainly not any trader in the traditional sense. I like to go all in because I believe sometimes it's worth it. And in this case we're in with this market situation that we're currently in, it is absolutely worth it. And I will beat the drum again and explain why. And we'll start by talking about the Nasdaq again, sort of picking up where we left off with our story of the Nasdaq and just talking about some nuances of the Nasdaq here, and going to tie that into the inverse forces that work against the Nasdaq, or in some ways work with it, right? Two sides of the same coin, right? So you just got to understand all the inversions. And the Nasdaq, one thing I've been thinking about this week, and I never heard anybody say this, so I want to see if this is like totally ignorant or not. You know, the Nasdaq seems like the original Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? Like 1971. Ooh, notice that in 1971, that was when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, they started this new Bitcoin machine. And by they, I mean, you know, these government bureaucrat Washington people. They had a very closed circle at this time. And so the insiders, you know, the Washington politician insiders, they knew what the Nasdaq was. They were hip to this new money machine that was being created, right? And they were hip to the idea that Nixon removing the dollar from the gold standard was the perfect scenario for these assets, right? These like liquidity sponges, if you will. That's all this is. It's a liquidity sponge, just like Bitcoin. You know, all these politician bureaucrats were hip to the idea that if you remove the dollar from the gold standard, then you can print infinite dollars. And if you can print infinite dollars, yes, the cost of everything will go up, that's for sure. But if you have these money machine devices, then that's okay, because you can always buy the money machine devices. And so even if your gas goes to $10 a gallon, you still hold like 1 million shares of Nasdaq down here, right? Like classic, you know? That's how these market caps got so big. And you realize they're just soaking up the liquidity that's been printed by the government since 1971, right? So that's just another angle to consider on the Nasdaq here. And what does it do? It just supports basic wave psychology principles. So we'll review on technical terms basically everything I just said. So let's talk about everything I just said in terms of technical charts. So we start by acknowledging this is the beginning of the cycle, the grand super cycle. All it is a 5-wave move. It's all it is. But it's basically a grand super cycle. And this is not the top of wave 3. That's what we discussed last time. So we'll review all this. But I'm saying wave 3 has 1.618 to go up to based on the wave 2 crash, right? So we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. So then you go into wave 4, giant wave 4 here, right? Something that, as long as it stays above, the wave 4's got to stay above the top of wave 1 there. You see that? As long as this sucker stays above there, we're good. You know, that 5-wave impulse is intact. So that's why everyone's crap. There we go. Just finish it off. Maybe I'll be very conservative and pretend that the wave 5 is only going to go the tiniest little bit higher than the top of wave 3 right there, but we'll leave it there for now. Whoops. So let's just see. Did I get it right? Is that a 1.618? Because that's what I think it is, right? I'm just based on this new measurement, right? I'm reviewing things. You need to check last week if this is not making sense to you. Why did I do this? That's all answered by last week's video, right? See, that's what I'm saying. That 3 comes up around the 1.618 level, and we can review in this video, I'm actually going to show so many examples of 1.618 just incidentally because it's every freaking where. So I think it's totally reasonable to say that this wave 3 comes up to the 1.618 level, and then also the idea that, like, yep, makes a whole lot of sense that it would come down to gear up at the 702 level, right? The 702 level. And so what wave count could we call this within the wave 3? This is a wave 4 down within a larger wave. So let's just look at this wave right here. Right? So you have 2 down, and then you have wave 3 that starts here. Within wave 3, you have 5 waves, right? So 1, 2. Here's the top of wave 3. And then wave 4 down, comes around to that 702. We like those classic, basic, self-fulfilling Fibonacci prophecies telling us every time what we need to be looking at. And then you're going to have the completion of that wave within wave 3. You have that completion align with the top of wave 3, the 1.618 level. So within that current wave, look where we are now, right? Doesn't that make a whole lot of sense? It's a wave 4. And how do we know that the wave 4 could be close? Well, there's close to being finished. Well, there's a lot of ways to look, and nothing is certain. But if we look, okay, it had a big wick just below that 702 level, right around there. And this is, look at monthly charts. Remember, the farther you zoom out, the more accurate you are, which is like a perfect inversion of all reality. So I'm zoomed out really far, and I can see that this monthly candle, the month of May, which is not closed yet, it's not closed yet. Seriously, if that candle, you see what I'm saying, you see what I'm looking at. If that candle closes green on the month, dude, oh my God, dude. Oh, and it could, but the point is, it doesn't need to. It already looks incredibly bullish, and it looks predictably bullish, because when we're out in these, so far zoomed out, we're zoomed out on these wave counts, we're looking at monthly candles. When we see a giant wick, because people just bought that wick, so much buying pressure on that candle, shoving it up right around the 702 level, how can we not say that that's a perfect confluence of everything we're looking for, right? So this is a very bullish candle at a very bullish Fibonacci level, and it also aligns with this wave count of this wave 4 down right here. Where would that wave 4 take you to? And think about the sentiment all through this wave 4, just like perfect at the top, literally at this top. Literally every mainstream at this top was saying buy. All the mainstream was saying buy, and now they're saying sell. Perfect. We got that confirmation, right? We got the sentiment confirmation. That's how that works. That's really easy, right? And what are they saying about this rally here? They're saying like, oh, it's significant, downtrend is stronger. Well, let me tell you, does that downtrend look stronger than this uptrend? I don't think so. Hello, like, come on. So anyway, we've completed this little tiny pullback that was a massive. Now you see why I've been saying the whole freaking time. This has been a lifetime opportunity here, right? This has been, we've been talking about this like 2 years or whatever. I don't know how long I've been on this crypto crap, over 2 years, but this has been like that moment of like, that's basically what my eye's been on the whole time. Is like the bottom of this pullback to hit up the final impulsive wave. That's basically what we're going to be here. And if this wave plays out like this is so freaking scary bullish. It's stupid. I mean, look how much upside you basically have immediately. And why do we think that's so imminent? Well, because of this buying pressure on this monthly candle. And if that monthly candle closes green, that's like the green light. That's freaking green light. That's straight up all it is, green light. If it's a red light, then, I guess proceed with a little more caution. But it's a red light with a wick right now. And that wick, like that's an intense buying wick. Anyway, I keep beating the wick dead horse. Okay, so we got this Nasdaq story. Hopefully all the stories of the Nasdaq, just keep thinking about that before you go to bed at night. When you wake up in the morning, just think about the story of the Nasdaq. It's very important. Think about how it started right when Nixon removed the dollar from the gold standard. It's the original Bitcoin. The difference is it was like only meant for the elites. The whole point with Bitcoin is like there's no secrets. Like we all can access it through the internet. Like these guys, we didn't have the internet in this stuff. So think about all that kind of synchronicity. Like, the only people who could trade this stuff had to be in the circles of this whole investing circles and stuff. So this was off limits to many, many people in this whole first wave. How do you get these massive market cycles? Is you get many people involved. How do you do that? You get the internet, and the Nasdaq is like the internet original Bitcoin stock, and now they got like cryptos built into the waves here, right? Like crypto is pumping these waves, right? They have a symbiotic relationship as well. And so the upside that's coming in crypto and these altcoin markets Obviously, that translates to huge upside in the Nasdaq and all the companies that are basically trading on the Nasdaq, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. We're going to see massive pumping in all these things because of this 1.618 gravity, right? Like, it's not going to be complicated out here, right? You got to learn your trading discipline and you got to learn profits and money management, but it's basically going to be raining money for a good while here. Honestly, it could be, right? Like, this is seriously bullish. And as there's going to be, pullbacks within, all good, all ways to get more deeper in your positions, and just, we'll be smart. We'll be here the whole time on guiding everybody through this, because like, this is going to be sick. This is going to be a freaking money volcano, right? And if we get this right, we're going to sell up here, right? And we literally can ride all the way down here. We'll start talking about shorts. I'll talk about shorts. Are you kidding me? Freaking, of course I'll talk about shorts. We'll be in here. And like, literally, we'll see how this plays out. We have no idea. I'm so getting way ahead of myself, but that's okay. If I'm zoomed out, I'm quote unquote ahead of myself. I'm zoomed out. I'm thinking about the big picture. So these little decisions in this moment aren't so significant, except, you know what? Sometimes they really are significant in the moment. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This kind of stuff, right? This kind of stuff. Oh my God. One of my favorite that stands out, comp, dude. Holy God. Comp is like absolutely perfect. Look at this. Look at this bullish divergence, right? This RSI starts an uptrend. See where this uptrend begins? This thing is deep in a downtrend, deep in a downtrend. And RSI is telling you, look at where this trend is reversing, keeps going down, starting to lose that downward push here. And then you get a bullish cross. Well, you get a bullish cross back here, right at the bottom. And I'm zoomed way in. Isn't that funny? I was just like looking all the way from 1971. And now I'm looking right this freaking second. And I'm telling you that comp is really big right now. I'll talk about Filecoin too. Those are my two that are jumping off the charts right now, are Filecoin and comp. What if I was crazy enough to tell you that like this move back here, that one, what if I was crazy enough to actually tell you that might have been the freaking bottom, dude? That might have been the freaking bottom. Like, not just of comp, but of Bitcoin and of the Nasdaq. That thing, when that Luna shit. Yeah, and I'm still holding Luna. I mean, that scared people to death. I mean, remember I said, what would be a scarier headline than bombs dropping in Ukraine? Remember? If we could think of that scarier headline, then that would crash the markets deeper into that correction. That's exactly what we got. We got a scarier headline. I'm sorry to say that it scared more people, that this whole thing with Luna, that scared people out of the markets more than anything about that war talk did. So you gotta, look at how the world works and what it runs on and things like this, because, you get between the lines on this stuff, man. They make money off war. And as bleak as that sounds, that's a whole other, part of this thesis, right? They're fulfilling their own prophecy. The money pumpers, right? They're fulfilling their own prophecy here they're looking at the same charts. I say the whales are looking at the same charts. People who are looking at these charts, they're fulfilling the prophecies self-fulfillingly, right? Like, they're going to pump money into all kinds of, like, all the things that are traded in Western markets are going to have money pumped into them as a result of, wartime stimulus. And not just that, but there seems to be a precedent of money printing. And you can see that precedent of money printing goes all the way back to basically 1971, when the dollar was removed from the gold standard. And you had the Nasdaq that also began in 1971. Remember, this chart doesn't go all the way back there, but I showed in the previous video, it's just like this chart doesn't go that far back. But the point is, that's not a freaking coincidence, right? Nasdaq, original Bitcoin, the original money machine. It was for the people who were rich and elite and stuff. Bitcoin's for all of us. It's the same thing. And you know what? Like I said before, it's more leverage. You're going to make more money if you trade Bitcoin like it's the Nasdaq. Instead of trading the Nasdaq, you trade Bitcoin, but you watch the Nasdaq, which is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, Filecoin, right? Filecoin. Yeah, Filecoin, because of these Fibonacci levels, because of these kinds of levels. Right? Look at that price right there. Yeah, this is what's setting up. You know what I mean? Like, this is that moment, right? I know how many times have I said that one before, but seriously, like, it's been that moment the whole time, right? But the point is, if I'm buying it right here, you better believe I'm buying it right here. Not even a question. You know, I've already made that commitment. We talked about this so many times. To me, all the downside is just the upside opportunity because that's how Fibonacci works. And then I also understand this grand, you know, macro money machine cycle thing they've got going. And these cryptos, like I've said, are just the leveraged play of these major indices like the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones and S&P 500. Like when they say risk assets, that they should actually just say leveraged assets, right? You know what I mean? Like that's the exact point. Yeah, that you get killed on the downside just as much as you get glory on the upside. But the whole point is downside is just a part of upside, right? Like there's nothing bad about downside. This is all opportunity and it's all about patience, you know? Like I'm a long-term crypto investor, but the crypto cycle is relatively short, you know, for how large the percentage gains are. And I think if I'm being, you know, as objective as I can be in what my exit strategy in this moment will be, you know, when we start to see Filecoin, honestly, we're going to see this pretty soon. We're going to see Filecoin popping out of here, like in the relatively near future. I'm looking at the weekly chart here, but like, you know, like literally it's not going to be complicated. I'm serious, you know, it's going to be basic, right? And that's just all a wave one. That's just all a wave one, right? Let's leave this on here. I'm going to leave these on here for Filecoin. And I'll just keep going. Because remember how we could do this, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it on the conservative with something like Filecoin here. But that is a very conservative wave one for what's setting up here. And then, so you go wave one, wave two, whatever, maybe down here. You know, look at that. Wave three, if I'm freaking conservative over here, like totally. That's basically that is a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that many people do see that. Many people do see that. So, you know, if we call it there and this one holds, you know, 702, whatever, you know, holds somewhere around here, obviously that's what you'd expect. That's more likely the completion of this cycle, right? And what year is this? This is August 2023. Yeah, come on. Exactly. Literally. That's exactly the timing is exactly correct. So let's just do this. Let's see what happens if I do that. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Holy hell. So you've got look at that. August 2023, you complete the crypto cycle. Where we see the Nasdaq at that time? Right around here. Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense because you notice that the major indices they'll continue pumping, right? After cryptos get slaughtered, right? After they have their massive, you know, obscene euphoria rip that makes complete sense based on everything we're saying, but it's going to seem like a dream, but it's going to happen in the third dimension in reality. But the thing is, once they get slaughtered to hell, you know, the Nasdaq and Apple and Microsoft and things like that, they'll keep running, right? Because what are people going to do when they have all this free crypto money? Well, they're going to pump it into what they call, you know, safe or risk off or low leverage, assets, like the most predictable ones, even the Nasdaq itself, especially because people are looking at these charts. And we notice at the top of this wave 3 cycle, you know, Nasdaq kept pumping after a lot of quote unquote risk assets had gone bearish, right? So just to say, like, it begins the pump and it ends the pump within these waves, right? Like I think within this Nasdaq wave, you're going to have cryptos going pretty crazy, but they'll complete their own cycle within that. And the crypto bull cycle is definitely going to end before the Nasdaq wave 3 completion ends at this 1.618 level. So, all right. Does that all make sense? I'll add one more on you because we haven't talked about the DXY enough lately. It's really nice. It's really nice the way I'm looking at it. I mean, I could look at it in a few different ways, but, you know, look at this. We're going back in history, right? So this thing has only ever gone down. However, it has broken out of a key trend line with a very impressive shape here. But look at this, our W shape, right? I'm zoomed way out. Look how far, this is a monthly chart, but look at our W shape comes right up against the 702 based off of this most recent structure, right? Even though this is a breakout of a major trend line, it's coming up against the 702 right here on the monthly chart. And look at that nasty bearish. Oh, I don't even like looking at that. That's gross. But that's real. Like, thank God it's gross, but it's what I want. That's a perfect 702 rejection and a nasty bear candle right there, right where we'd expect it on this W shape, right? This W sends them straight down. Where is it sending them to? Well, it's probably going to retest. It's going to retest this major trend line here, breakout. But here's the thing. Before, like, let's do a quick wave count on that. What's this setup here? I mean, you got to like think I'm zooming so far out today but it's good, right? That's all wave 1. Wave 2 can come really low and make everyone think it's all over, but maybe it would even hang up here. But the point is this trend line's pulling it down. It's got gravity for a wave 2 within this larger move. And I would expect, because of this breakout, see, I'm trying to get up to this 1618. Because of this breakout here on this trend line, I actually would expect, look at that. See, look where I am though, year-wise. I would, yeah, this makes sense. See, look at this. 39, out in 39. 2039, 2040. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense that the US dollar comes up to the 1.618 level around this time. That would make a lot of sense because this trend line breakout does imply upward momentum for the US dollar. So whatever that means for history, think about how that fits in your history story, right? Right now, we can see the strong case to basically sell all of your fiat currency, sell it, get rid of it, buy anything but it. It's the worst time to hold fiat currency that's backed by the US dollar at this moment. Dump it into anything but US dollars, right? Just for now. Buy more US dollars down here. You better believe I'm going to buy US dollars down here because look how high they're going to go. Like, yeah, I'll sell them up here. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the game that we're playing here. But yeah, looks like we got a nasty bear candle exactly where you'd expect on a 702. That's starting a wave 2 down here. This is all upside for Nasdaq. This is all upside for Bitcoin and cryptos. And that's why this is a whole downtrend, right? Because if the Nasdaq is just an uptrend, it's a money machine, and they keep printing money. If they keep printing money, the value of money keeps going down, right? So if they keep sending the value of money down, then these money machines that they invented can go up in value, and then they don't care that the dollar goes down in value. But now they're playing a more creepy game where they figured out how to make the dollar go higher, even though it's worthless, right? That's the game they're playing now. But guess what? Their bull rally just came to an end. They just had a bull market. Their bull market just came to an end. Now they got a whole down wave here. Yeah, that would make sense. Exactly. Look at this time. 2026, and then it reverses, right? And then you get bear markets over here. But like, where's 2026 on this chart? Yeah, see? Look at that, right? It's like, yeah, watch. This crash will be nasty. So maybe I should extend it, right? If I'm going off the data I just ascertained from doing my wave counts on the dollar really impulsively and objectively. Sometimes doing these things very quickly and impulsively is a good way to do them because it kind of shows your subconscious. So that's another way to think about this because we got to think of every variation. One thing we know for certain is that everything I'm saying right now has some subversive flaw to it. So whatever the subversive flaw to what I'm saying is, that's the mystery that we're trying to unfold. And that's why we look at different data points. If we look at the dollar and we see that the dollar is going to enter a bull market in 2026, if we see the dollar, the US dollar is going to enter a bull market in 2026, right here, see? Bull market for the US dollar, 2026. That means that the money machine over here is going to be entering a bear market and it's going to bring all the other money instrument machines down with it, right? And that would make perfect sense. So we're just getting those multiple data points and we're realizing, NASDAQ, Bitcoin go together, the dollar, the yields, they go against it. And so we got to look at these potential counter trends, right? These instruments that have inverse trends, basically. And then we can use those puzzle pieces to more accurately look at our waves. Like that example with just like changing the time of that wave, it could take longer based on what we can see on the dollar chart. And we're looking at these on monthly time frames. But the bottom line is this candle is really beautiful. It really signals a strong reversal at the 702 level to start a really big wave, a massive, massive, massive move, Whew. Because we got cryptos on this thing, man. This is going to be crazy. So that's what I'm saying about Filecoin. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, would you believe that? Would you believe that if you lived that life and you made that much money on that? I mean, we've already done that, though. That's the thing. So it's about to happen again in a bigger way. So that's what this is. So learn your wave counts and your Fibonacci's and your history and tell the whole story of everything. And just know what you're doing, so you can go all in. No questions asked. Right?